Good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome. It is Turn It Around Tuesday. Hope that you all are having a wonderful day. This is your host, Angela Hayes, at the Angela Hayes podcast show, Life with No Limits. Welcome. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and share button to your friends, your coworkers, your networks, your family. Don't forget to share this podcast with someone in your space. Give me just a moment. I want to make sure that I share to those in my space as well. I'm so happy to be here today at the Angela Hayes Podcast Show, where we share information, insights, opportunities, stories, and resources from business owners, entrepreneurs, authors, ministers, professionals, and those in our community. I am your host, Angela Hayes, and today's episode, can you believe it already? We're in episode 23. I cannot believe it. Thank you. It is a celebration. It has been a journey, but it has been a wonderful journey. And those of you that are coming in this evening on the podcast, I ask that you would just put us a comment in the feed, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, on the Unique Foundations Enterprise uh, channel on Facebook, or you're on the YouTube channel, Angelia Hayes on YouTube. Put us a comment in, leave us something. Let us know that you are here or were here and where you are coming in from today. So today we want to welcome our very special guest. I call her a thriving author. We have today Miss Jacqueline Leonard of Katy, Texas. She is an author, a speaker, and a philanthropist. And so we're going to say hi to Jackie. How you doing today, Jackie? Thank you for being here on the show today, Jackie. It's definitely an honor as well as a privilege to host you on this show today.
Thank you for having me. And actually, I live in Houston.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, you know what? I did. You did. I remember you telling me. I don't know why I have you and Katie, but she's
That's
in
okay.
Houston. She's in Houston. So, of course, those of you know that sponsored here with this podcast, GMT Broadcast is sponsors this podcast, and we are definitely grateful for them hosting us at this show. I do have a couple announcements here on the screen. I want to draw your attention to our scholarship raffle is still going on for Life Revision Center Incorporated 5013C. We still have raffle tickets available at $5. This is to assist those college students with expenses for school. So when they're getting ready to go off to school, of course, you know that there are many expenses. So every bit of funds that they can receive is a tremendous help. So that's what we're doing at Life Revision Center. And I would like to give a shout out to our president, Michelle Holmes, in San Antonio, Texas. We are all about education, literacy for the children, financial literacy. And also, I want you to keep your ears open for some things that we have coming down the pipe that we are looking into bringing to our community and to be a blessing to those in our community. So keep your ears out. So any donation that you would like to make, we would certainly appreciate it at Life Revision Center.
Angela,
And
I have a question. How do we go about making donations?
actually, I'm going to put a link on this on the comment section
Okay.
of Facebook and YouTube. It's a PayPal link, and you can actually click that link and make the donation, or we can, you can text it to us by Zelle. So
Okay, I can do that. I don't have PayPal.
okay, okay. Either way, we can definitely get you taken care of. So those of you that are interested in supporting our children, please, you can see that link once we put it in the feed, and also you can Zelle us. You can Zelle us at 979-334-2648. Again, the Zelle number is 979-334-2648. So
Send me that
I
number
sure
again.
will, Jackie.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. We'll
Yes.
be glad to accept your donation, and definitely it's going to a good cause. So I'm excited again. We're back for another week on our podcast, and we're continuing our series on the voice of the authors. And before we go into our interview with our guests, I do like to draw your attention to my most recent release, More Than Meets the Eye, Made in His Image. You can find it on Amazon, or you can reach directly out to me and purchase your book. But if you do decide to go to Amazon and purchase it, remember you can get a hard copy or you can do the ebook. Download it to your electronic device and read your book there. And we ask that you will leave your comments and the feedback on how the book was a blessing, how the book helped you, what did the book do for you, inspired you, it motivated you, it encouraged you, and what things did you walk away from reading the book. So thank you again for your purchase.
And I
But
want to share with the audience. I bought her book, y'all. I read it. It was excellent. I got some highlights in my book, and I left my review on Amazon. And Angela is my sister author, and love it, love it,
yes,
love it. Great
and
book.
I'm so grateful for that, Jackie. I appreciate you for sharing your feedback on Amazon, and
Most
for what
definitely.
you shared with me personally, as well
Yes.
as what you shared with the world on what you received from More Than Meets the Eye. But enough about me. we gotta we're going to segue on into our interview. And so again, we have the thriving author, Miss Jacqueline Leonard, here in Houston, Texas. And she is the author of Positive Words for Painful Times, Triumph Through Divorce. And she's probably got her copy as well. But Jack, if you have one handy, you can raise it up
Yes.
also.
Yes, I do.
So
Let me
this
get
is her
mine.
cover. I know she does because she's always ready. That's what I love about Jackie. She's always on it.
There's
All
my
right.
book.
Yes. So this is a beautiful cover. Looks like someone just rolling away in freedom.
And that's it. You said it. Rolling away in freedom. That
Yes.
was, and see, you got the this is what it was about.
I got the
I had
message.
my luggage in my hand, and I
Uh-huh.
was walking away in peace and happiness.
Yes,
Walking away from
absolutely.
mess, from confusion, just walking away to
Walking
peace.
away.
To the doves in the air, I'm just walking away. Had my
It's
luggage,
beautiful.
and I was walking away.
You did a great, yeah, the message was definitely conveyed well, because that's what I got from it. So I want to read a little about Jackie, and if you get her book you'll see this on the back cover of the book. But about her as an author, Jacqueline Leonard is a native of, and if I say this wrong, please forgive me, Jackie, correct me. I don't even want to say it. What part of
Faraday.
Faraday? Okay, Faraday, Louisiana. She retired from the Internal Revenue Service with 33 years of service. I believe that
Woo-hoo.
alone deserves a round of applause, a cheering on. 33 years with
Thank you, Jesus.
IRS.
Yes.
Upon retirement, she received a proclamation from Fort Bend County Commissioner Grady Prestige. I'm gonna have to put on my light here so I can see better on this cover. Y'all forgive me because I want to make sure I give you the proper accolades. The Commissioner Grady Prestige Albert Galantine Award from United States Department of Treasury, and the flag of the United States of America from the Honorable Al Green. So those of you that are in Houston, Texas, y'all know that's the Texas thing. Y'all know who Mr. Al Green is. A member of Congress, Jacqueline loves having date nights with her husband, Mitchell. traveling with family and friends, and working out. Now, I want to say a little something about Jackie on this little part about working out. She was in her heels at the gym the other day, and she was working out. She was cute though.
Actually, we had a photo shoot, so I had the heels on. Yeah,
I love
actually
it.
I'm in a gym competition July the
Oh,
12th.
awesome.
So we
Awesome.
had a photo shoot. That's why I had my heels on and
That was
all that.
cute,
Yeah.
cute.
Thank you.
She loves traveling with family and friends and working out. In addition, she does volunteer work. And I'm going to let Jackie share more about her volunteer efforts. And I mean, she's once you hear what she's saying about where she volunteers and what she does in that, you will understand why she is today's philanthropist. So today I welcome again to this show Jacqueline Leonard.
Thank you, my beautiful sister Arthur. I am so honored to be on your podcast. Thank you for having me. As she said, I do volunteer work. I've been doing volunteer work for a long time. So when I lived in Illinois, I volunteered at the Rockford Rescue Mission. And I started with a group of members from my church, and then I just started doing on my own because I actually love it. You know, you gotta. That's what Jesus called us to do, is to serve. And
Yes,
I'm going to see Jesus because it's hot in Houston, and I'm
yes,
not going to Hades hell. I'm going with Jesus and the cool, and the streets paved with gold. He might. I don't know
yes.
if he got air conditioning, but I know it's not hot there.
I
So
know it,
I
Jackie. I'm with
volunteer at Star Hope Women's Shelter on Reed Road. I serve
you.
lunch. I go once a month and I serve lunch, and it just humbles you because I serve on the women's and children's side as well
Mhm,
as on the women's side. And
mhm.
sometime on the women's and children's side, I have to turn away so they won't see me crying because you'll see
Wow.
women in there with like 3 or 4 kids, a baby on their shoulder,
Mhm,
and the food is always good. So I love the people at the women's shelter, and then I
mhm,
volunteer at Goodwill. I do rags,
mhm.
sort clothes, and I just love it. And I also volunteer at Junior Achievement. I did it pre-COVID, but now I've started back. So I'm going to Hope Middle School. I think July the 19th or somewhere in July. I'm going to do. So I do volunteer work at the school.
Wow. You are definitely a light and definitely an example of what we all should be doing. And how did you just
Well,
come about choosing those particular centers and places to volunteer?
Well, I volunteered at Houston Food Bank a while ago, and then when COVID started, everything stopped. So
Hmm.
I said, you know what? Since I did it in Illinois, I said, you know what? I'm just going to find somewhere where I can volunteer, and I did the women's shelter, and I chose the women's shelter. I had to take like a class,
Hmm.
and I go on Mondays. Normally, I go on Mondays because Tuesday and Thursday I go to the gym, and then Fridays, if I go home, I go home. So it's either Monday or Wednesday that, and I like going Mondays because I work with the same people,
Hmm.
Amber and Mr. Robert, and I love who I work with. So I chose Star Hope, and the Goodwill. It was just close by because I wanted to do something else, and I am retired, so I can do stuff like that. As
Yes.
my good husband says, "Sweetheart, I'm not retired, so you can
No,
do stuff
really
like
not.
that." So I am retired. So I just like giving back. It makes me feel
Mhm.
good, and that's what God calls us to do. And
Yes.
I just want to please God and be more like God and
Amen.
everything I do. And it's actually and it's not bad. Like I say, at the Star of Hope, they let us bring food home, and I had never had shepherd's pie,
Hmm.
and the cooks are so good. So they had shepherd's pie. I said, Miss Pam, can I take some shepherd's pie? She said, yeah, and it was so good. So I just like volunteering there. I just
Yes.
love it. And I sold a book. I sold
While,
2 books
while
at the Star Hope,
volunteering. See?
and I sold some books at Goodwill.
Wow. See there, audience, if you become an author, you just that's why I always say here on the podcast, Jackie, we just never know where whose life we're gonna touch and who's going to
Exactly.
be who wants to buy your book, who's going to invest in you, who wants to hear your story, or how your story with the tidbit, because you probably shared some tidbits along the way with some people that you met and they were like interested, like I need to get that book.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And I when you were talking about the volunteerism, I was thinking about the scripture when it says that the poor shall be with us always. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, that is something that the Father does. We are to do is to give of ourselves, our
Mm-hmm.
time, our monies. Giving comes in so many different forms.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It just makes me feel good. That's all I can say. It makes me feel good, and just to see the smile on the face, and like when I'm gone, they're like, Miss Jackie, where you been? Where you been, Miss Jackie? You back? And I just love it. I love doing my volunteer work.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, we thank you for sharing those. And of those, if anyone's looking for somewhere to go and volunteer, she just gave you some.
Star
Uh,
Hope on Reed Road
mhm.
and Goodwill. I go to one on 1960 and Champions in Houston, Texas.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Jackie, you know that I know where you from.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
live in Houston, so just a little bit more about you. Tell the audience where you originally from.
Well, I'm originally from Faraday, Louisiana. It's a small town between Monroe and Alexandria. We're really close to Natchez, Mississippi. If anybody's heard of Natchez, Mississippi. So, like right across the water. So, I'm from Faraday. I grew up in Faraday. After I graduated from college, I went to Louisiana Tech. I graduated in '86. I moved to Illinois and I started working for IRS
Hmm.
October 13th, 1987. And
Hmm.
I retired August 28th, 2020. And
Yeah.
people don't like the IRS because when I get letters from IRS, I ain't lying. I be scared. I'm like, man, y'all be sending me some letters. Find me at work because those three letters, the I, the R, the S, they kind of scary.
Right,
And
they are.
and I know God, that job was for me because I taught school for a year, hated it. So I told I was living with my aunt, so I went back to Faraday, but I was sending out resumes because I had wanted to work for the CIA. It was something about three letters. I wanted to work for the CIA, the IRS. It was something about those three
The
letters.
acronyms, yeah.
Yes, and so I taught school for a year, and I quit, went back home,
Hmm.
and so my brother Billy, that's my road dog. We were driving from Louisiana back to Illinois because my aunt called me and said because I had all my mail going to my aunt's house, and she said you got a letter from IRS. I said open it up, and I had an interview. So on
Hmm.
my way, we broke down in some part of Arkansas, right off of 55,
Hmm.
and this man stopped. Took us to way off of 55 to some junkyard. He could have killed me
Hmm.
and my brother,
Wow.
and we got because the water pump went out on the car. He wouldn't let my brother Billy use his tools, so Billy had a pocket knife. He cut
Hmm.
that water pump off. That man took us back to 55, and we drove on to Illinois. I had my interview. I went back home. Billy drove me back for my second interview, and I got the
Hmm.
job October 13th, 1987,
Wow, with IRS.
with IRS.
Wow, that's amazing. And you did 33 years. Unbelievable.
33
Yeah,
years.
well, I
Yes.
thank you so much. I commend you, and we may need to have her back to do us because she's she consults too. So
Hmm.
we may have to have her back to give us some good IRS tips and insights.
I tell everybody, you don't want no IRS because we are very nosy. We get all in your business. So,
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's how it is.
yes.
That's how it is. So yeah,
But they were good to me.
yeah. Well, that's good, and we appreciate
I
you.
made great friends. I travel the world. I, I I make great friends. I just love it. And now I go back and I teach 2 times a year. So I travel, I go
Mhm.
teach, and whenever I teach, I take my books and I sell my
There you
books. As a matter of fact, I taught in this year in February. I was in Pennsylvania,
go.
and
Hmm.
then in May I was in Dallas. And a young man, 31 years old, bought 2 books from me.
Wow, and that's
And
a
he's never been married, so I'm just grateful that he supported me. I said, "Well, you don't have to buy two." And I said, "No." I said, "You don't have to buy two." He said, "No, Jack, it's called business." Because he wanted a signed copy, so he ordered one off of Amazon. And I said, "Well, when I get back, I'll send you a signed copy." He said, "How much is it?" I said, "No, you already bought one." He said, "No, it's called business, Jackie." So he sent
Mhm.
me his money, and I sent him a book.
And I like that you said that even though he had never been married, he was still interested in your story, right?
Yes,
And see,
yes,
that's the thing that about everybody's story. It may not be a situation or a status or anything like that you are in or ever been in of what have you, but you can always learn some key valuable points and insights from people in wisdom, right? I mean,
yes.
who doesn't want some to gain some wisdom in life?
Exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
my book, even though it's about divorce, it's about relationships. Because I've had several people tell me, "You're right." I mean, I know you don't know me and you don't know my story, but this is what happened to me. As a matter of fact, I had a lady call me Sunday from Waterproof, Louisiana, and she used to, and it was so amazing. We was talking, and she
Mhm.
knew exactly where I lived. And when I lived in Illinois, I'm like, Ridge Road in Lansing by that Burger King, and she said, "Oh, I know exactly where that's at." So it was just so amazing that she knew exactly where I lived, and I knew
Right,
where she lived, and she said, "This is my story.
right,
This is my story."
right.
And I
Yeah.
had never met her. I only met her once.
Mm-hmm.
I met her once at church when I went home, and then she called me Sunday.
Amazing. So I want to ask our audience a question. Have you ever had a situation or experience that you thought that you wouldn't be able to exit out of? So I want to sit that right there. And I want to move into what Jackie says on the back of her book, that she had all kinds of thoughts going on um, in this relationship. So today, we're talking about Jackie's story, from positive words for painful times, triumph through divorce. So it is a story and this is my term that I put it, Jackie, from defeat to victory, right? And
Yes.
but she had so many thoughts going on through her mind. Should I go? Should I stay? What will my friends think? What will my parents think? Will I be talked about and criticized? Will God be upset with me about divorce? Someone out there today? These thoughts flooded my mind, says Jackie. Satan kept replaying them over and over in my head, along with "you're a failure," all because I was contemplating leaving Illinois and filing for divorce. In this book, you will find encouraging words and a few of my favorite gospel songs that increase my faith, help me to trust God, and not look like what I was going through. So, Jackie, with all of that being said, all the questions, all the madness that was going on in your mind before you wrote this book, what was it, or who really inspired you to go ahead, move forward, to write the book?
Well, I think it was a collaboration of things. I used to live in Dallas before I moved to Houston and got married. I was talking with my old Bible study teacher, Sister Sullivan, and
Hmm.
I said, "You know what, Sister Sullivan? I want to write a book." And she said, "You know what? I know the perfect person for you." And she's a Christian.
Wow.
So I called Miss Phyllis in May, and then May of 2021.
Hmm.
And in April of 2022, I was a published author. It helped me heal because
Hmm.
I just had a lot of bad thoughts, and it helped me heal. And I was embarrassed at first to write the book, but now
Hmm.
I don't be embarrassed about nothing
Right.
because I do know God doesn't like His children to be in bad situations.
Hmm.
I know God doesn't like His children to be abused. I do know that because I have the when I say the best daddy, y'all. I got the best daddy. My daddy
Yeah.
doesn't cuss, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, he doesn't fuss. I try to make him talk about some of my siblings, but my daddy be like,
Hmm.
he just won't do it. As my husband say, he just keep on making you shame.
Yeah.
And I'm the one known for throwing things away. My dad say, Jackie, leave that alone. And when my daddy talk, we listen because my daddy does not fuss. He does not get out of character.
Hmm.
So I got to thinking, my dad doesn't fuss. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that.
Hmm.
I don't have to stay and take
Right.
this mess.
Right. Right.
I don't. I'm a
Right.
child of God, so I know I deserve better than this, and I'm
Yes.
gonna find it.
Right.
And God is gonna help me, and He did.
So that
And
just
then
all
I
kind of
came back home
motivated.
because in Illinois I was like 12, 13 hours from home,
Hmm.
and Dallas 6. I'm like, cut it in half. I'm
Hmm.
like, thank you, Jesus.
Wow. So all of that.
Reconnected with my high school, college friends,
Yeah.
and I just love it.
Wow. So all of that just kind of motivated you and encouraged you to move forward out of that situation.
Yes.
Yeah, because Jackie, you a believer, I'm a believer. So I've heard over the years. I don't hear it as much now, maybe because I'm not in those circles anymore. But that a lot of believers or Christians, they don't want to get a divorce. They think God is going to hold it against them. He's going to frown on them. He's not going to forgive them. But you were in a situation that that you were being mistreated and abused. Talk to that. Talk to that and today it's not just a woman in domestic violence situations, but it's some men too in the
Exactly.
in situations, right?
Exactly. You know,
So talk to those people.
God doesn't want you. He doesn't want you to be hit. As a child growing up, we were um, taught discipline. Sometimes people don't do it as much these days, but when we did things wrong, we suffered the consequences. We had, if you don't wash the dishes, if you don't do what your parents say, you got consequences. And
Right.
back in the day, as when I was growing up, you got a spanking.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, they didn't kill us, but you got a spanking. So
Yeah.
I didn't like getting spankings. I didn't like getting hit. So, I just like, no, I'm not going to stay and be mistreated. I
Yeah.
know I deserve better than this. God,
Yes.
God doesn't want us to be miserable. And I read daily devotionals, and one I read where it says laughter. God, He likes you to laugh. When
Yeah.
I read that, I'm like, what? He
Mm-hmm.
wants you to be happy. So, honey, I laugh all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm happy. I tell everybody, if I was any more happy, I'd be living with Jesus.
Right.
The Leonard household was
You're
very
not
good. If
ready
I was
for
in my and our daughter April told me, Mom, don't talk like that. If I was any more happy audience, I would be living with Jesus. The
right.
Leonard household is very good.
Yeah, that's a blessing. We're not ready for you to live with Jesus yet,
No, me
Jackie.
either. Yeah, me either. But
You
but
got too much to
yeah,
give.
and he wants he wants us to be happy. He
Yes, he
doesn't want us
does.
to be sad. He wants you to laugh. He wants you to have a
Hmm.
good life. He wants to bless you. And we do know trials and tribulations come. So I got a chapter in my book
Hmm.
talking about trials and tribulations. We do know it comes, but we're gonna have those, but we can be
Right.
happy at the same time.
Absolutely.
Um
Absolutely.
it's trials and tribulations made me better. So,
Mm.
it all things that happen bad, it doesn't come from Satan. And I think that might be a chapter in my book too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have learned through writing this book,
Hmm.
God is amazing. He is awesome. He have done things for me that I know without a shadow of a doubt could nobody have done it but him. You
Hmm.
cannot change my mind about Jesus. As my husband Mitchell say, I talk a lot. Everybody know, all my friends say I talk, my family, everybody say, man, this is what talk to a tree. And my husband Mitchell say, I think I wrote it in my book. She would talk to Satan. And by the time you finish asking, why you don't like Jesus? Well, let me tell you what Jesus did for me. Why you hate Jesus? Jesus can do this. Satan
Hmm.
is gonna walk away and leave me alone and find the next person.
Hmm. 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 Yeah,
Because
you
he's
better
just been
talk
too
to
good
him,
for me to
and you better talk to him. You got to put him in his place.
that's
Yeah.
right. He's been too good for me to let anybody tell me anything else different.
Yeah.
And it made me read my Bible more. It made me study more. It just made me do it, and it increased my faith tremendously.
Yes. Yeah. So that says a lot, Jackie, that your experience really drove you to a place, a spiritual place, in a place with, your father, your heavenly father. It drove you to a place that where you needed to be, because I know after all that trauma that you had to go through processes. You had to recenter yourself, realign yourself. You had to
Hmm.
heal, like you said, writing the book healed you, helped heal you. And so that's what I want to say to somebody out here in the audience, that writing is therapeutic.
It really is.
You got to release those things that are on the inside of you, and sometimes you may not be able to express it all to someone, but I promise you, because I agree with you, Jackie. Writing has healed me too in different instances, because you begin to listen to what's coming out of your soul, and
Hmm.
you're able to put that down, and then you turned it into a story, into a whole book. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Yeah. So even in that transitional phase, when you were contemplating, asking all these questions and all these thoughts, what helped you? What are some things that help you to transition out? Did you seek any type of counseling or spiritual advice, or you just came to that conclusion? What you just said, God don't want us to live unhappy and miserable.
I came to that conclusion. Now I did seek some professional counseling,
Hmm.
but it was a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years before I decided. I
Hmm.
started thinking, no, God doesn't want me to be. I'm not going to be miserable. And
Hmm.
I was gaining weight. It was just too much for me. And I'm
Right.
like, Jesus. And I have a brother. I have four brothers and two sisters, and my sister Vicky and my brother Chris. We talked through it, things, and they helped me out. And I discussed it with my job, and I left on a Thursday, February 6th, 2011.
Wow. What a
My
life.
aunt and I drove from Dallas, from Illinois to Dallas, and we spent the night in Texarkana, Texas that Friday night. And I was in my truck. It was snowing, it was ice, and my truck had started to mess up. And I pulled over like, Jesus, I gotta get there. So he
Hmm.
brought me on through. We went to some mechanic shop off the road, and he said, well, you'll be okay. So we drove it on through, and we stayed in Texarkana, Texas. And that Friday night and that Saturday morning, we got up and drove from Texarkana, Texas on into Dallas.
Wow. That is amazing. And you didn't look back, did you?
Did not look back.
That's amazing to go from Illinois to now you say Texarkana, Arkansas, or Texarkana, Texas.
Texarkana, Texas, and
Okay.
we
Yeah.
spent the night there that Friday night because we left. I left on a Thursday, but we left. We drove all day Thursday, and then because we didn't leave till like 6 a.m.
Mhm.
That Thursday morning, so we drove all day Thursday, and then we stopped Thursday for just a little bit, and then that Friday we made it to Texarkana because it was really bad. The weather was bad.
Oh
And
wow.
then that Friday night, we stayed in Texarkana, Texas. And then we got up and drove to Dallas. Me and my
Wow.
Aunt Betty,
Amazing. And God was with you all the way.
all the way.
So in those type situations, domestic violence situations, Jackie, I know that I understand that you do. If you're the person that's contemplating on exiting that situation, um, somebody that's on the verge and contemplating, how would you tell them? I mean, just to keep themselves, because I know there's safety and precaution factors
And so that's
involved.
why I left at midnight. Well, my ex husband worked midnight to 8 a.m. So when he went to work, my two of my girlfriends got to our house at 12:15 a.m. And by 1 o'clock, I had my Durango loaded. So you gotta think about your safety. So at that point, I was just concerned about my safety and getting out. And I didn't tell a lot of people. I only told my sister and my brother.
Mhm.
Of course, my job knew.
Mhm.
And that's why I say IRS is good to me because I took the whole month of February off so I can, readjust and get myself situated in Dallas. So I left a nice house in a very nice community. I went
Mhm.
to a two-bedroom apartment, slept on the floor. I had no furniture, but I
Mhm.
was at so much peace.
Wow.
No garage. I mean, four-bedroom house, but I went to a two-bedroom apartment with no furniture.
Yeah. But you had peace.
I had peace. I
See.
had peace.
Yeah.
So like I said, I didn't tell a lot of people. I told maybe a handful. Um,
Mhm.
I told people who I could trust, who I knew wasn't
Mhm.
going to say anything and wasn't going to discourage me. Oh,
Right.
why you just need to stay? No, it's time to move, and I left. I didn't even tell all my siblings because
Mm.
I didn't want anything to get back to nobody.
Right. And
So
see, that was
you
you
have to have
still.
you got to
Yeah.
have a confidence. You got to have a circle. I mean, everybody talks about circle, but I have some girlfriends who I know without a shadow of a doubt. Veronica Blake, that girl has my back.
Mhm.
Because when I left, I couldn't take all my clothes, so I took some clothes to her house. So now I'm telling things that I didn't even put in my book. So I took
Mhm.
some clothes to her house, and she came to visit me, and she would bring my clothes to me.
Wow. Wow. So yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I took some clothes to my aunt's house, and she would
Mhm.
go to my aunt's house, and when she would visit, she would bring my clothes to me.
Right. So you have to really strategize.
Yes, yes, I did.
And you
And as I
strategize
was,
with the right
as
people.
I was contemplating I would take stuff to my sister's house. So there was a lot of things I didn't even put in my book that I'm sharing now. But yes,
Yes.
you have to have a strategy. I had a strategy and I had a plan,
Mhm.
and I had to
Strategy
stick
and
with
a plan.
strategy and a plan, and I had to keep it real. Didn't let many people know that I was leaving, because as a matter of fact, one of my employees at my job,
Mhm.
I'll just say his name was Jim. He came up to me. He said, Jackie, I see they got your address as Dallas. I played it off. I said, man, that's a mistake.
Mhm.
So 2 weeks later, he came back in me. He said, Jackie, your your address showing Dallas, and it's got a Dallas phone number. So I called my employees in my office and I told them that I would be leaving
Mhm.
Illinois and I was going to start working in Texas.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of wisdom that God gave you during that process, going through that phase. With your exit strategy, how, and who to share information with. So, I mean, somebody out there, you might want to take note. You may not be the person that could be in a domestic violence situation, but you may know someone that is in a domestic violence situation. And listen to Miss Jacqueline Leonard here today. You have to have, I like that, a strategy and a
Hmm.
plan, but you want to be Jack is very proudful, so you want to be real proudful and know when to move, how to move, and
And that's it.
with
You got
who
to
to
know
move.
when and
Yeah,
know how.
right.
You have to. And like I say, you you got to pray. But I do know, no one likes to be hit. No one likes to be talked about. No
No,
one likes that. And like I say, as a child, I didn't like getting spankings. But when you do things wrong, no, you happen. But as an
right.
adult, we don't want to be hitting and fighting, because most people didn't make it out. Some people who were in domestic relationships,
Hmm.
they died. I'm just thankful to God
Oh
that
yes,
I'm still here. I'm
yes,
here, happy and thriving.
yeah. And you're here to tell the story. You know
Exactly.
that's what I love. That you're here to tell the story, and that you a testament to someone that's in it. You know, and they can. That's hope for them that they can come
Exactly.
out.
And and you be embarrassed because you don't want anybody to know. But at this point, and though the abuser may say it didn't happen, well, and it's two sides to every story. But
Right.
who would lie about being abused? I mean, I don't know too many people who would say that, I was hit or I was whatever the case may be. I don't know anybody who would just say that.
Mm-hmm.
That's embarrassing. So,
Yes, yes.
but
Well, I commend you, Jackie, for your Miss Wanda, our other author sister, Wanda Cabrera, has put in the chat that you're powerful and brave. So I do commend you for your bravery and for your courage, and for you taking those steps of faith to exit, to move,
mhm,
to go, because faith is stepping out on nothing, and
mhm.
landing on something.
And I'm going to read something in my book because I let me find it. When I was contemplating moving,
Hmm.
I talked with my then pastor, um, Pastor Francis,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to find it. But anyway, I talked to him about it, and I told him, I went to Bible study on a Wednesday night, and I
Hmm.
said, Pastor Francis, this is going to be my last time at Bible study. He said, are you all leaving the church? I'm like, I am. And he said, oh. And so I told him about the situation, and he told me, he said, well, Miss Jackie, I know three things about you. And this is what he said.
Hmm.
I said, when I decided that I was getting a divorce, I spoke to my former pastor, Pastor. I spoke to my former pastor, Pastor Prince Francis prayed for me and
Hmm.
assured me I would be all right. He said, I know three things you will do when you get to Texas: eat, work out, and go to church. That was my confirmation. I now had to receive peace about leaving. And everybody who know me know I love to eat because I'm from Louisiana. We
Right.
love to eat.
Well, we
So I
from Texas
love to eat.
study too.
Might not be in that order, but I was gonna eat, work out, and go to church. And that's what
Right.
I still do now. I eat, work out, and go to church. I have 12 grandchildren, and our next to the youngest grandson, they call me Mama J. He's Kyrie. Kyrie told his mom, he say, Mom, when I go to church with Mama J, she be yelling at Jesus. She don't stay in her seat. Jesus gonna get mad at her because she just keep on yelling at him. So no, he'll be, I think, 8 or 9 in July. So I try to know we taking him to church. So he
Uh-huh.
thinks the man preaching is Jesus. So now I'm trying to get him to know he goes to his Sunday school class so he can understand that Jesus is not the man preaching. But yeah, he said I
Right.
be
Yeah.
yelling at Jesus. You won't stay in your seat, and I do. I be out of my seat, and I guess I do be yelling at Jesus, because, but I've had every Sunday someone comes up to me and say, "Oh, I've been looking for you.
Yeah.
Everything, man, when you be talking to Jesus, you just be encouraging me. If you all know what I went through and
Right.
what Jesus has done for me, you'll be
Mhm.
up out your seat yelling and screaming and talking
Yeah.
to Jesus too."
Yeah. Yeah. You got a lot to thank God and praise God for. You know.
Amen. And I'm not embarrassed. And I tell people, I say, now if you sit beside me, I'm a little loud when it comes to Jesus. And they say, okay, we good. And I had this one lady say, I'm loud too. I say, well, very good.
Right. You want them ahead of time.
Yes, I do. I want them ahead of time.
Yes, that's awesome. And I sure appreciate. I know you have to go. I know you do have other meetings to attend, but I just wanted to say about how you stressed about the importance to our audience, the importance of having a support system. And Miss Jackie, you know,
I
yeah.
want, yeah, because I had a great support system. I mean, just my sister Vicky and all my family and Chris. I mean, they helped me like no other. You know, and then when I moved here, like I said, I moved into an empty apartment. My cousin, one of my cousins, Valerie, she
Hmm.
called me. She said, "Cousin, uh, what size bed you got?" I said, "A king." And I had a Durango back then. I went to her house, y'all. When I say this girl, it was just me and my Durango.
Hmm.
I couldn't fit nobody else up in there. She gave me sheets, towels, toothpaste, soap, dishes, spoons, forks, everything. Her sister Sharonda, I went over there, just everything,
Awesome, awesome,
everything.
awesome.
I mean, they just. I love my family. They now we
You.
might fuss and argue sometime, but at the end of the day, they got my back. When I had my book premiere in Dallas, I
Yes.
sold 40 tickets.
Yeah. I remember
40
your family.
tickets. I
Mhm.
had 3 tables, y'all.
Mhm.
10, 10. I had 3 tables.
She did. She did.
My family, no, they might know, we might laugh at each other, we might say things, but at the end of the day, we got each other's back.
Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
no, you need that. And they didn't know the situation. A lot of people didn't find out my story until my book premiere. And one of my cousins, I love him, Herman, he called me, he was crying, "Cousin, why you didn't tell me what was going on, man? Why you didn't tell me?" I couldn't tell him because when you involve your family, things might have happened. I don't know what would have happened, but
Right.
my
Right.
family had my back, and
Right.
they got my back to this day.
Yeah. And Jackie, that's so encouraging to someone that is having or going through the domestic violence situation, because it is definitely again a testament of faith.
Hmm.
Because when you stepped out, you stepped. I mean, you left, didn't look back. You ended up in a empty apartment, and then now you're talking about all this stuff that was given to you. I just want to say to someone, that you we have to learn how to trust the Father, even when we can't see our way.
That's it.
Because that's faith. I mean, if we could see all of it, if we could see all what was ahead of us, we are not walking in faith. But for someone that's in that relationship that is not serving you, and you're not able to serve them, uh, the way God designed the service
That's
to
it. The
be.
way God designed. Yes.
Yes. And so I want to end with this, with you talking about your now. You went from a domestic violence situation, and now God has so greatly and graciously blessed you with the love of your life. You
Oh, I
know,
got a whole good husband. When I was in Dallas teaching, that's what they call him, a whole good husband. Mitchell Leonard treats me like a queen. Treats me like a queen.
hmm
That man is he doesn't let nobody talk about my brother Chris. He ain't let nobody talk about me either. But Mitchell, you even talk about his wife because I used to didn't cook, but like my dad would say, everybody, my family are good, great cooks. I put it in my book. My sister Vicky make this good hamburger loaf. Billy is the
uh-huh.
grill master. Freddie make this fish. We call it crack fish. Everybody can cook.
Yes.
And they thought I couldn't cook, but I can cook because I go home now and check on my parents. And I made
Mhm.
a meatloaf, and my dad said, "Jackie, meatloaf good. Y'all want some?"
All
So my
right.
dad done spoke. My dad said I can cook. My husband said I can cook. And as my brother Chris said, if Mitchell says she can cook, that's all that matters.
Right.
Treats me like a queen.
That's so beautiful.
If he
Yeah.
if I don't want to do something and he wants to do something and I don't want to do it, I don't feel bad anymore. Say, oh, I don't really, I'm
hmm
doing it, but I don't want to.
hmm
If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
hmm
And
Right.
and, and and we have a saying in our house, we stay in our lane. Because like when you get out your lane, you have accidents and stuff. So
Right.
Jack and Mitchell stay in their lane.
Yes.
And
Yes. No collisions.
yes, no collisions. That's it. We stay in our lane. He treats me like a queen. He treats me like a queen. Like he tell me, I don't understand everything she do. I just respect it. And if I
Oh.
was to tell somebody, if out of relationship, or they ask me, do you want love or do you want respect? I
hmm
choose respect because if he respect me, he's going to love me. And like he
Amen.
tells me, I don't understand everything you do. I mean,
Amen.
my wife, she retired from IRS. She could go and do counseling and consulting, making lots of money. But
Yes.
she want to go do the goodwill work and do the Star of Hope, and she want to work for free. But that's her. If that
Mm-hmm.
makes her happy, let her do it. She
Yeah.
want to go pick up her cons and make $15 an hour. You think she made 15,000? If she like, let her do it. I
Right.
respect it, and that's why I
Yeah.
love him. He is the he's a good husband.
That is so. That
And
is
then
such
my
a good.
family said, "Ooh, Mitchell, man, you know Jackie don't know how to drive." She drive all right to me. He ain't finna let nobody talk about me.
Yes.
Nobody. You can't
That's
talk about his wife.
that's it. That's it. That's so one. And it's so good, Jackie, to see how God has tremendously blessed you. You know, coming from a tumultuous relationship,
Hmm.
to such the relationship that you deserve, right?
Yes.
To the marriage and the husband that you deserve all the time because you are a king's kid. And that's what I wanted to say to someone out there that perhaps you're in a domestic violent relationship, or maybe you're getting over, you're still broken from some sort of relationship that you were in. Some people are still broken from
Hmm.
years ago. God has someone out there for you, but you have to be willing, as Jackie has said here today, to open up your heart, to forgive,
That's it.
and trust God through
Hmm.
the process, and He will provide, and He will send.
I'm a living witness, y'all. Yes, he will.
I love it. I love it because to me your story is like twofold. So I don't know if you might need to add this to your new book or what, but yeah, because you have a love story came out of on the flip
Hmm.
side of this, right?
Yes, and like I said, the man is when I was working, he works. I think he go to work at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever. But he would get home before I did. I would get up like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and make a whole dinner. So when
Hmm.
he got home at 2 o'clock or whatever time he get home, because he got home before I did, he had something to eat.
Right.
Because he's just that good to me.
All right. We us single ladies are taking notes. Thank you, Jackie. See, that's what I'm saying. Jackie is full of wisdom. She's full of just life
I
lessons.
owe it all to God.
Yeah. And you're such a giver. And I want to say shout out to our author sister online, Wanda Cabrera, that's on. And then,
Yes, she has a book, and I'm reading her book. And Wanda, I was no reading your book. I found out your birthday's April 13th, mine's April 14th. So I'm
oh,
still
you hear
reading it,
that?
and I'll be done with this soon. And I'm gonna leave you a review.
Awesome. And see, Jackie does that for all of us. And our very own, our coach, our mentor. She's all that. Miss Phyllis Jenkins says God has truly blessed Jackie because she's a giver in all caps. Yes, that is the reason why Jackie's book and message has helped to impact many lives. And Jackie, I want you to keep on, and I know that you will keep on impacting lives as you
Y'all gonna make me
travel
cry.
all over the world, while you're in church, at the grocery store, while you're serving, wherever you are. Continue to impact and change lives. But I want you to leave with the audience today. Uh, leave with them how they can reach you and how they can pick up a copy of your book and how they can connect with you, whether it's on social media or what have you.
Okay, well, this is my book again, and it's on Amazon. If you're in the Houston area and you would like a copy, you can reach out to me on Facebook, inbox me, and I can mail you a copy. And my IRS family, love them. They have supported me. They tell people about my books. Love my IRS family. I'm on Facebook under Jacqueline Leonard. So if you need a book, you can get it off of Amazon, or you can reach out to me, and I will mail you a book, a signed copy. Um, and that's how you can reach me.
Yes. Thank you again.
And
Thrive.
thank you so much for having me.
Thriving
I'm
author
honored.
sister. Yeah, you are such an example to us as authors too, because God just gave me that word about you today, thriving, because you are a thriving author, and you're a great example of, how we really should be sharing our stories and impacting the lives of others. So
Because a lot of people, I've had men, women, older men, younger women reach out to me and say, what, your story is. And some of my reviews on Amazon, I go back and read them. I just start crying. My husband called me a professional weeper, but I probably am
Yeah, yeah,
because I cry.
and it
I
helps.
cry and I talk a lot.
Yeah, but doesn't it help, Jackie, when you can read that review of someone that's written
Yes.
your story? Yes, I appreciate those reviews, like you yourself that you left on my book, and I mean, yeah, we're encouraged and inspired when okay, someone tells us, "Oh, your story was powerful," and then and it was a blessing. But when you can go into more detail about sharing and getting that feedback, you can actually see your book doing what it was designed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Exactly.
so we're all appreciative for you.
Okay, since I've been talking about my good husband all the time, I got a couple pictures of him in my book. I'll show this and then we'll end. Uh,
Okay.
Mitchell is very modest. Like when I went to New York to teach last year, and they say Miss he came to visit, and I was telling you, I give examples of whatever my examples that would relate to IRS. And
Mhm.
Mitchell came down, so we was going out to eat one night, and I said, this Mitchell, y'all." And so they say, "Oh, Miss Jackie, this Mr. Mitchell," and they said, "We done heard a lot about you, Mr. Mitchell." And Mitchell, very modest, he said, "And it will be all true, and that's me."
Yeah.
I thought I had. Wait, I'm gonna get in my the pictures aren't in this book, but let me get a book and I'll show you a picture of my husband, guys.
Yes. Yeah. So we just want to say thank you to Jackie and those, and I want to leave with the audience, those are listening. Remember, Jackie said, when you're exiting a domestic violent situation, have a strategy and a plan. Have a strategy and a plan. All right. Okay. Yeah. He's in the book.
Yep, he's in the book.
He's in the book. Thank you, Jackie, for sharing. And let Mr. Mitchell know that we thank him uh, for just being who he is to you.
I will.
Yes.
And thank you for having me, Angela. I appreciate it. We're gonna hook up real soon. And Angela
Absolutely.
is the best, y'all. I went to a book signing with her in February, sold a couple books. Please go on Amazon and buy her book. It is a great read. Like I said, I highlighted some pages. I don't want to leave again, but I got some pages highlighted and fold back, and it was a great read.
Thank you, Jackie. And again, thank you for being here at the Angela Hayes Podcast, Life with No Limits, episode 23. Thank you for just gracing us with
You're
your
welcome. Thank you for
presence
having me.
and your story. And we're looking forward. She has an upcoming book that'll be published. Is it 2024 or 2025?
25.
2025. So I want you all to connect with her and get her the current book, but I want you to stay tuned with her as she continues her writing journey and continue to make a difference in the lives of other people. Thank you all on the feed
Thank you.
for
And don't
joining
forget to send me the link. I mean
for
the
the
numbers I can
donation.
sell you.
Yes, please remember to get your scholarship tickets, $5 for Life Revision Center. We will be placing that link in the feed, and also we'll place the Zelle information as well. This is Angela Hayes at the Angela Hayes Podcast, where we provide and share information, resources, insights, opportunities from business owners, entrepreneurs, ministers, professionals, and those in our community. I am your host, Angela Hayes. Have a wonderful rest of the week. God bless. Thank you all.